dear Harrison, Patrick, Cheech,
and Jason.
And Jason. Happy birthday to you. Hey everybody, happy July the 13th. It is the birthday of Harrison Ford, Patrick Stewart, Cheech Marin, me. By some accounts, Julius Caesar. The whole month, in fact, was named after him. And another fun fact, the initials of the months from July to September, July, August, September. Did I just say?
You did.
July to November. July, August, September, October, November. Spell Jason. So that's fun. This is going to be our last Ukulele Club live stream for a while. And it occurred to me that I haven't told you yet what the Dewey Decimal number for ukuleles is.
How could you not? I feel so betrayed that
maybe,
you haven't done this.
Maybe you didn't even know. Before I started working at the library, I didn't even know ukuleles had their own Dewey Decimal number, but they do. It's 787.89. We got the whole section of the Dewey Decimal classification about stringed instruments here, and you know, violins, violas, cellos, double basses, and then plectral lutes, which includes mandolins, guitars, banjos, ukuleles, and vihuelas. I'm quite disappointed that the Dewey Decimal System does not yet have a number for bass guitars. So if you're looking
toss those in with the ukulele.
If you're looking for bass guitar books, now they're mostly cataloged with the mostly shelved with the guitar books, but of course the double bass books that are in the string section with the violins might also have information that's useful. But the ukulele, to be fair, has been around for over 100 years. The bass guitar has been around for about 60 years now, so it's just about due to have its own number. But
you know, I bet there's probably somebody that's invented the birthday of the ukulele. Don't you think?
What?
I mean, there should be the ukulele should have a birthday.
Yeah. Should.
And there was probably someday when, you know, some Portuguese guy working in Hawaii, right? That's the story.
That's, yeah. The story of the ukulele goes back to Portugal. Some guitar makers, luthiers from Portugal, who settled in Hawaii, started making instruments out of local wood, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll remind you one last time for the summer that the ukulele that you have at home, if you have one at home, is probably smaller and a slightly different shape than this, because these ones that we play are tenor ukuleles. They have a slightly longer neck than the standard one, which is handy for some things, but the little ones have a great sound also.
The little ones sound more like this. So if you've got a tenor and you play up the neck, you can make it sound like a soprano.
And if you play it down here, it's a little bit more of a classical guitar kind of sound, a little bit brighter. Or that. Let's see. Oh, so one of the things we left you with last week was this alternation between G7 and C. So the G7 chord takes 3 fingers in a triangle. First finger on the first fret of the second string, and the other 2 fingers beside it on the next fret. And then we talked about a couple of ways of moving to the C chord. I do it by putting my pinky on the 3rd fret because it's right there beside the other fingers. And Sheri often does it by sliding that finger from the 3rd, from the 2nd fret to the 3rd.
Which gives you this nice slide sound too.
So this is a really important alternation in a lot of songs that you're likely to play on the ukulele. So let's just do that alternation for a minute. So one song in particular that uses that alternation exclusively is Chopsticks, which we also started talking about last week and we'll come back to in a few minutes. So here's the chord progression for Chopsticks: G7 for 6 counts, and then C, and then back and forth. A 1 and a 2 and finish. Always a big finish.
And remember that whenever you're playing a chord, you don't have, especially if your hands are getting tense, you don't have to just hold those chords. You can always hold those strings down. You can always let some up. So what I was doing was a lot of strum and picking this. My poor little ring finger gets tired, so I just pick him up. We call it pull off. So my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of this second fret of this first string, and I get tired of him being there, so I just pick him up. So I can either pick him up, and it doesn't really make any noise, right? Oops, sorry. Basically stop that string from sounding. But as I'm picking him up, I take him and I pluck the string on his way out. I'm going to strum the string with my right hand, and then I'm going to play it with my left hand. And 3. And I can do that with all 3 strings if I want. But I don't usually want to do that. These are easiest to do on this top string, on bottom string.
String 1. First
String 1, yeah, thank you.
That's why they number them like that, because it's confusing. Because a lot of people think of this as the bottom string because it's the closest to the floor, but it's also the highest pitch string. So in my musical mind, I think of it as the highest string, even though the bottom physically. So it's better to just have a number.
I mean, you should just name them Juan and Mariana and Joey.
Or you can name them the A string, the E string, the C string, and the G string, if you want to be all music theory about it.
The all string, the
cows
string, the
eat grass. Oh wait,
that's completely
that doesn't work on the ukulele,
no,
does it?
Totally
No, sorry. Never mind. We'll fix that in post.
No, the my dog has flea string. This is the my string. This is the dog string. This is the has string. That's the flea string. Anyway.
Those go the other way too.
Do they?
Yeah. My dog has fleas. This is the flea string.
You know,
this here
really,
is the
they
flea
should get
string.
professionals to do this. We need probably a break.
Let's talk about another easier alternation
Okay.
between 2 chords that are really important. If you're going to play songs on the ukulele, a lot of the time you're going to be in the key of C. So C is an important chord, and G7, of course, is important. And the other one that's most important is F. And we have an easy way to play F that we've talked about before. Just put your finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. That note is F. And if you just leave the rest open, you get a nice kind of schmaltzy F chord. If you want a standard F major chord, you can put your finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, or the G string. So it's handy to be able to transition cleanly and smoothly and quickly between the C and the F. And as you might guess from looking at the fingers I'm using my ring finger for the C chord, and I'm using my first 2 fingers for the F chord. So there's no reason I can't just leave those fingers more or less in their places the whole time.
Right.
So I'm just lifting the first 2 fingers to play the C chord, and I'm lifting the 3rd finger to play the F chord. But I'm not moving my hand away. I'm not going.
Yeah, they don't get to rest. This is not your C chord with unless you've got something you're hanging onto here with these 2 fingers, which bad idea.
So let's just do this for a minute. Might as well do it with the same rhythm, even though these two chords are not really in Chopsticks. Not in this section. 1 and 2 and C, F, C, F, C, And of course, as with anything else, when you're practicing these fingerings with your left hand, you can be trying different things with your right hand.
And if your fingers are not all operating at the same speed, or you want to be fancy, so what I was doing with my F chord was I was starting with the 1 finger F chord, and then my middle finger, he got there late to the party, so I play the F chord, and then I slam my middle finger down. This takes a little bit of strength because it's your middle finger and not your index finger. So again, I'm striking the string with my thumb,
hard.
and I'm slamming down with my middle finger. So when I was going back and forth, I was playing C, and I was strumming the F, and striking this string again with my thumb and hammering on with my middle finger.
And that's something you can practice for quite a long time, because that's harder than I thought it was going to be at first. It's especially, so I find it's easier to do just with that one string than it is to make that note audible when the whole rest of the chord is ringing. Sheri's really good at the
there's a little bit of coordination that you get between your two hands, and it's also a way, by the way, if my hand is feeling cramped because I've been playing for a long time, counterintuitively doing something like that or a pull-off actually gives my hand more of a chance to rest, and it gives it a chance to move around. One of the things that can happen to you when you're holding a chord shape is your hand gets tenser and tenser. And even though I'm not, my F chord is not being held, my 2 fingers are still really tense because they're waiting to go on, and here they are, and I'm squeezing really hard, squeezing so hard I'm having zero fun right now. I have to make this face. And so it's nice to drop your hand, drop it down, just drop it down, let it lay there. And then remember that it's a ukulele, so it's supposed to be light and dancey and playful. And as long as it's tuned up, almost anything you play on it sounds good.
Okay, we've gone from C to G and back. We've gone from C to F and back. So the remaining permutation, math majors in the crowd will know this already, is back and forth between F and G. F and G, you're very unlikely, F and G7 especially. That doesn't sound very satisfying. This doesn't sound like you're getting to the end of a song when you do this, but it's a really important progression in the middle of a lot of songs. You go from F to G, F to G, and that's all leading you home to C. So, but that alternation between F and G is really important, and one of the things that's great about that on the ukulele, even though the G7 chord takes 3 fingers and it's sort of a complicated hand position, what's great about it is going from the F chord, I can leave my index finger on the F note, on the E string, the 2nd string. I can just leave that finger there and just move my middle finger over from the 4th string to the 3rd string, and then add my ring finger on the 1st string. So this F note here, this 1st fret note on the 2nd string, is kind of the pivot point, or the anchor point, really, where the rest of your fingers are pivoting around it when you're going from F to G.
So when I'm thinking about these chords, especially, every time I play a chord, I think about it in my head slightly differently depending on where it's coming from and where it's going. And so Jason's point about that index finger being your swing point is a really good one, because when you're switching between these two chords, the F and the G7, I'm thinking all about the transition between these two hand shapes. I'm not thinking about, ooh, second fret, ooh, third fret. I'm thinking, okay, I've got this kind of open hand shape here, and my index finger is going to be a little swing, and I'm just going to swing everybody down and make the new configuration.
So this is an exaggerated view of that, going from the F position, swinging the hand over to the G7 position, swinging it back to the F position. You don't really want to move your hand or your elbow or your wrist this much, but this is kind of the direction in which the finger part of your hand is moving.
Because there will be times later when you are going to have to move your whole elbow to get crazier chords like this. So it's nice just to think about your whole arm and your hand as movable. But movable in a casual way, because it is a ukulele, you don't want to work too hard.
It's like swinging in a hammock in the breeze.
Yeah.
From F to G. So let's do that. Let's swing from F to G.
And G.
G.
And F. And G. And F. G. F. And G. And F. And G. And F. And G. And F. And G. And F, and up back to G, and then C. I hit the C, here we go. Woo! We made it. Get kind of nauseous swinging around like that.
So after you have all those, you have those three chords, the C and the F and the G7, and you have a comfortable, confident way of transitioning between C and F and G and G and C.
Then you're a free bean. You can do whatever you want.
So many songs you can play, including the Happy Birthday song, which is no longer under copyright in the United States. After all
we were
these
just
decades.
talking earlier about what a great song it is and how much we love it.
Yeah. So it starts on C. C is kind of a low key, arguably, or kind of a high key, depending on where you start. Happy birthday to you. It's an easy key to play in on the ukulele, not necessarily an easy key for everybody to sing in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Patrick Stewart and Harrison Ford. Happy
C
birthday
and G
to
and C.
you.
And again, if you don't know what those chord changes are, you can look them up, or you can just try things. Happy birthday, I don't know. And if you get it wrong, no big deal. It's
No
a
big deal.
ukulele. You're fine. You find the trick to getting away with stuff on any musical instrument. Should I tell us out loud? They won't come and get me, will they?
Yeah.
It's just keep moving. Don't go. "Ah!" Just keep moving. I played it. So I played. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh, what is it to you? No, just keep moving.
So let's try that. Play along, and if you don't know quite how the song goes, just keep plowing through it, because you will pick up some information along the way by playing along. Here we go. A 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, whoever. Happy birthday to you again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
get to Chopsticks or we won't have time?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Are we doing good?
We're going to do a couple of playbacks before we get back to Chopsticks.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Okay. So last time we talked about doing these little runs. Which is the bottom half of a scale. Yeah, you know what I mean. So remember, for these 4 notes, what you need is an open C string, 2nd fret on the same one, an open E string, and a 1st fret. Should we go all the way up? Yeah, why not?
Sure, let's go back and do those by number also. Okay. So 3rd string open, 3rd string 2nd fret, 2nd string open, 2nd string 1st fret.
And then your index finger is already on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. What you want to do is just reach over with your ring finger and put it on the 3rd fret of that same string. And then you can play the first string open, then with the 2nd fret, and then with the 3rd fret. And again, you can memorize this, you can look it up, or you can just listen for it. So if I'm playing along, let's see, open, 2, open. If I go 2 again, ah! I mean, it's not that bad. Let's try it again. Open, 2, open, 1, 3, 3, open, 2, 3. Start at the bottom again. Open, 2, open, 1, 3, 2. Sorry, open, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to play something and you play it back for me. I'm going to start on this open string just so you know, just so you don't have to pretend like you've got perfect pitch. Okay, I play a thing and Jason's going to play it back.
1/3 string.
Ready? I'm going to start where I left off. I'll start where I left off. Here I am on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. I'm going to play this. Again, I'm starting where I left off. Open. Next, I'm going to start back at the bottom on this open 3rd string. Again, start where I left off on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. I'll start where I left off. Start where I left off with the open string. What an ideal thing for you to have is a willing playmate. Ukulelists should come in pairs all the time, and so that you can play this game, and you can get faster. And you can. Nice.
That wasn't quite it.
It wasn't quite it, but it was close. And so you can while away a lovely long COVID staying at home summer afternoon. Playing back and forth.
So did you want to talk about that B section?
Sure. So you know that we played Chopsticks, and it's also got this part where it goes. And as fate would would have it, those are the notes, isn't it, by some magical coincidence? What do you know? Those are exactly the notes that we've been practicing. Well, we practiced it on the way up. And now we're going to play it down. But we're going to do it nice and slow.
And for those of you keeping score at home, that's the C major scale.
Woo!
Starting on C, ending on C. Okay?
Yeah. So we'll just play this scale a couple times.
Okay.
Start up here with your ring finger on the 3rd fret of your 1st string. 1, 2, 3, go. Switch strings. Switch strings. Up the top again. Ready? Get your finger right there. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, open, switch strings. 3, 1, open, switch strings. 2, 1. Keep going. Listen for it so it sounds right. Make it pretty. Start on 3 again. Open, switch strings. Open, 2, 1. One more time. 3, 2, open, 3, 1, open, 2. I'm going to keep going, and Jason is going to come after me in a minute, and we're going to play a little canon. It's going to be really pretty.
So I'm going to wait.
Part. This will put you right to sleep.
And that'll wake you up.
I'm gonna go around one more time.
And I'm just going to stop there. Because that sounds nice together.
That's nice. We're probably getting close to
It's close, so you want to do you,
oh, you want to play the chords?
we were leading up to something, weren't we?
You're going to play F chords and C chords while I do this, right?
We were going to do the B section of Chopsticks.
Oh!
So perhaps I'll just demonstrate this. There seems to be some misunderstanding about what the next step was going to be. I will just assure you that the B section of Chopsticks, the middle section of Chopsticks, is just notes from that scale with a little bit of decoration. So let's just do that. A 1, 2, and... So we leave that as an exercise for the viewer to fit that in, along with the A section in 2 parts.
You've got till Labor Day to get that worked out.
We're hoping to see you again right after Labor. Okay.
Should we have our theme song?
Theme song then. Here's the theme
We were
song.
going to play it like extra wild, right?
Not wild, just peppy.
Oh, peppy, okay.
I don't know what you mean by wild. So here's the theme song. Remember G6, D7, C7. Here we go. Wood County District Public Library, Ukulele Club. Wood County District Public Library, Ukulele Club. Come on along and play your ukes with me. It
summer, everybody.
Mahalo.